Tell me, has this ever happened to you? You get a nice raise at work and you're really excited about it. You just can't wait for the next paycheck when that extra money finally shows up. But when you get your check, well, you pay the bills, maybe you treat yourself just a little. Nothing real crazy, but just a little something to celebrate. And then not long later, you look at your bank account and you're like, wait a second, where's the extra money? Shouldn't there be more here? Don't worry, you're not in the twilight zone, but you have wandered into some dangerous territory called the black hole of lifestyle inflation. I know, it sounds dramatic, but here's what really happens. We have these expectations about how money can improve our lives. Maybe we've planned a vacation, or we're thinking about upgrading our vehicle, even just doing some projects around the house. But then we find out we're getting a raise, and that's exciting. And the wheels in our brain start churning. Hey, I was already thinking about a vacation. How about if I stay for an extra day or just get a better room? Oh, how about a better hotel? That's a great idea. You know, it's just a little treat. We have a raise, so we deserve this. Upgrading your car? Well, you were already thinking about one that's 5 or 6 years old, but hey, your paycheck just got bigger. We could probably afford a little bit more on that loan. Maybe let's think about something newer, something fancier, something better. Just a little treat, you know, because we deserve this. Does this sound remotely like anything that you might have done or just thought about? Well, this is where the real trouble begins because we're action takers, right? So instead of thinking about doing things, we put our thoughts into action. We start spending more, and now we're relying on that extra income. And before we know it, poof, the raise, it's gone. That's why you end up with less after you get a raise. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to stop doing that, how to break the cycle and actually use your next raise to build wealth, not just to spend more money. So here's the thing. When you get a raise, it feels like you have more money, right? And technically you do. But the tricky part is that your brain and your habits tend to expand to match that new number. It's almost like the sneaky little script starts running in the background. Well, I can afford this now. I've been working hard. I deserve a little treat. Maybe it's time to finally buy a better phone, get that new game, or even upgrade the plans we had for other things like a car or a better vacation. It all really seems harmless, just small, sensible upgrades. But the problem is those little upgrades, they add up fast. Here's what's really happening. Every time we earn more, we just naturally expand our spending to match, and we don't even think about it. For example, we were already planning to get that new video game, but we were waiting for it to go on sale, or maybe we were saving up for it. We just hadn't made the decision to buy it right now. But the raise showed up, and whatever reason that we had for not buying that game, well, it just went out the window because now we can get it today. Well, the phone, it's a few years old, and our carrier did just send out an email and said, it's time for an upgrade. And we're not really planning on buying one, but maybe we should just go down to the store and take a look at it. And well, the next thing you know, you're walking out with a brand new shiny iPhone or Android that you didn't really intend on buying, but the sales clerk just made it seem like it was a no-brainer. So why not? It's so easy to let that extra income just slip right through our fingers. I read this line somewhere recently. If you don't tell your money where to go, you'll always wonder where it went. And that really stuck with me. And that's exactly what lifestyle inflation does. It's not that the raise wasn't enough. It's that we didn't tell it where to go before it showed up. When the money comes in, it's just going to find all sorts of ways to leave your hands and go somewhere else, which may not exactly be beneficial to you unless you make a plan for where it should go. Here's the other part of this, and this is something that we don't always talk about. It's not just the numbers, and it's not even the little upgrades. It's about how we feel about the raise. There's this little voice that creeps in and it whispers, I've worked hard for this. I deserve it. Or this is what success looks like, right? This is what I'm supposed to do with more money. And then there's the social pressure. You see your friends upgrading their car or getting that nicer vacation or posting about their new gadgets, and you start to think, well, maybe I should be doing more, buying more, upgrading more too. And listen, there is nothing wrong with wanting nicer things. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your life. But the danger comes when we let those outside pressures, or even just that little voice in your head that says, you've earned it, make a decision for us before we've even thought about what we really want. It's like the money shows up and suddenly there's just unspoken rule that you have to start living differently, like your identity has to shift. You were a basic car person before, so maybe now you should be a luxury car person. You were an economy traveler before. Now maybe you should be flying first class. But here's the thing, success isn't about keeping up with everyone else. It's about living in alignment with your own values. It's about asking, what do I really want? And what's actually going to make my life better? Not just look better on paper or in the pictures. I remember hearing this quote by Teddy Roosevelt, and he said that comparison is the thief of joy. And man, isn't that the truth? Trying to match what everyone else is doing can leave you feeling less happy, even if making more money seems to be the thing that should make you happier. So if all of this sounds familiar, if you're just nodding along and thinking, yeah, I've definitely done that. First of all, like I said, you're not alone. This is what a lot of people do. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. You see, every raise, it's an opportunity. It's a chance to choose. Do I want this extra money to disappear into upgrades? Or do I want it to work for me? Maybe build something for my future? Because here's the truth. It's not how much you make. It's how you manage what you make. There's this line in a book that stuck with me, and it said, if you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. And that right there is a whole mindset shift of its own. If you're not able to manage what you already have, what makes you think that you're going to be able to manage even more, any better than what you're doing right now? I know someone who was barely scraping by on a few $1,000s a month, and they were always like, I just need more money. Now they're bringing in over 11 grand a month, and they're still scraping by, barely getting their rent paid. They're falling behind on their car payments. They're buying and splurging on stuff that they can't afford. Bigger house, better car, more stuff, more vacations. You see, they couldn't even manage the little bit they had. And now they definitely can't manage the abundance they have. So before your next raise, or even right now, if you've already gotten one, just take a moment to stop and think and really align yourself with what's important to you in your life. Ask yourself, how do I want this raise to serve me? So I don't become a slave to the money, but so that the money becomes a tool to me. What do I value most right now? Is it filling my life with more stuff? Or maybe it's creating more freedom in my life through my finances. Where can this money help me build wealth, not just to spend more money? Because when you make that decision before the money shows up, you take control. You tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So watch this video next if you want to do more, take more steps towards building that wealth.